Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I am excited to bring you another powerful video on ESG Data Analyst, which is one of the fastest growing career paths in 2026 and going forward in the next 5 years, friends. Today's topic is something many of you have been asking for, and that is ESG Data Analyst, freshers versus working professionals. Who should follow which roadmap? What skills matter the most? And how do you enter this field as quickly as possible? Right? So if you're confused about how to start your ESG career, if you're unsure whether freshers and working professionals need different strategies, or if you simply want the fastest, most practical roadmap to become an ESG data analyst in 2026, friends, then this video will give you complete clarity. Hi, I am Chandan Sudip and welcome to part 4 of our ESG data analytics series. In part 1, we explored skills, salary, and future scope, right? In part 2, we broke down core responsibilities. In part 3, we learned the correct skill sequence. And in today's part 4, we go deeper into career roadmap, separately for freshers and working professionals, friends, because both groups have different strategies, different strengths, different challenges, and different starting points, friends. So you need to understand exactly which roadmap you have to follow if you are a fresher and which roadmap you have to follow if you are a working professional to enter into the ESG domain or sustainability domain, friends, right? So you need to understand, friends, ESG is not just another career trend. It's one of the fastest growing fields globally, driven by climate action, sustainability reporting, and responsible business practices. But here is the real problem. Most people do not know where to start. Like for example, freshers feel lost because they feel, oh, they do not have any experience. And how do they start? They do not have any ESG framework understanding. So what they have to do? Or they do not have the exactly understanding on Excel, whatever they know, is it enough? Or do they know need to have more understanding on Excel, how and what kind of skill set they have to add on Excel. So they feel stuck. Same is the problem with the working professionals, friends. Even the working professionals who want to transit, who wants to get into the ESG, right? They feel stuck because they feel, oh, how do I connect my current job or skill set to ESG? Do I need certifications or not? Will companies value my existing experience or not? And that's exactly why part 4 of this series is so important, friends, because I'm going to explain you exactly, even if you are a fresher or a working professional, what kind of roadmap you should follow, right? So what makes ESG careers different, right? Unlike traditional careers, ESG hiring is not based only on degrees or certification, friends, and this is very important, you have to understand. The companies will look for practical skills, whether you have any practical exposure or not, practical skill set or not, right? Do you have the understanding of frameworks or not? The global frameworks, the regional frameworks, the local frameworks, national, international frameworks on ESG sustainability. Do you have those understanding or not? That is more important. Are you able to, or do you have the ability to work with the data or not, friends? That is more important. Do you have the business awareness? Do you have the sustainability mindset? This means anyone, even a fresher or a professional, can enter this field with the right roadmap. But the roadmap is not same for everyone. If you are a fresher, you will have a separate roadmap. If you are a experienced guy or a professional, working professional, and if you want to transit into ESG domain, then you have a separate roadmap. That is more important to understand the roadmap, right? So freshers need to build credibility from zero, but the professionals need to leverage what they have, what already they have, right? This is what you have to think about. If you are a professional, you have to leverage whatever skill set you have, and that's exactly what we are about to decode today in this particular video, friends. So let me help you to understand with two case studies, friends. One case study, the first case study for a fresher, and the other case study or second case study for a working professional, right? Let's say case study one. There is a fresher who cracked ESG without any certification. Means a fresher has no certification on ESG or sustainability, right? But still could crack the interview. How? Let's say a BCom graduate had no experience, no sustainability background, and no technical degree, but he or she had a bit of understanding on the GRI aligned ESG scorecard. I mean, the frameworks. He has or she had the understanding of GRI or any other related frameworks. He or she had Power BI dashboard understanding, how it works, how it looks like, and how to go through the dashboard, right? He had understanding of the simple emissions calculator. This means a bit of understanding on the JG emission and how it's getting calculated. So if he or she, if the concerned person has a bit of understanding, a bit of know-how without prior certifications or degree on ESG and sustainability, still, he could or she could manage to crack the interview and get shortlisted. This means you need not have too much of certifications or degree requirement to get shortlisted as a fresher. You should have basic skill set and basic understanding of the framework, of the Power BI tool, of the emission calculation, right? These things will help you to get into the ESG domain, friends, although you are a fresher, right? Then let's say case study 2, a working professional who transit into the ESG domain in 3 months. Means the working professional, let's say he is from a finance, or he or she is from a finance background, a finance professional, right? But he or she switched to the ESG career. So what he did, what she did, being a finance professional, what he or she did to, strengthen his or her career in ESG domain, friends. So the concerned person started understanding the reporting requirements, the ESG disclosures. He or she or the concerned person mastered into Excel, how to validate data, how to verify data using Excel. The compliances, the concerned person started reading the reports and understanding the compliances, like for example, BRSR reporting, what compliances are required. So these things he or she or the concerned person started understanding. Although he didn't start from zero, he built on whatever he had or she had. I mean, he tried to leverage the skill set the concerned person had and try to understand these things slowly. And in few months, he or she or the concerned person could easily get into the sustainability domain or ESG domain, friends. So he became a sustainability reporting analyst in 3 months. And this is the power of a custom roadmap. So if you know, although you are a working professional, you do not have any too much of background of ESG and sustainability, but if you want to build up, it's very easy, friends, but you have to follow a roadmap. What all things required as a fresher, what all things required as a ESG sustainability, professional, friends. So this is something you can understand with a roadmap, right? So most people try to follow a generic ESG career path, right? But ESG hiring doesn't work like this. Freshers need to build credibility from zero. Working professionals need to leverage their existing experience. Engineering students, suppose if you are from engineering background, you have to connect technical knowledge with sustainability, right? If you're from finance and accounts student, or if you are from financial background, so you need to align ESG with reporting and metrics. Young professionals need to show adaptability, how you can adapt, right? Mid-career professionals need to show domain expertise, what kind of domain expertise you have, which you can leverage to get into the ESG domain, right? And that's why a single roadmap doesn't work here. You need a customized, custom path based on where you are today, right? So this is the roadmap for a fresher. So suppose if you are a fresher, you should follow this particular roadmap step by step. Step 1, where you need to have to build basic ESG understanding. It may not take too many weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks are required to build basic ESG understanding. For example, ESG pillars, sustainability metrics, GHG basics, BRSR if you're from India, and GRI fundamentals or any other standard fundamentals, right? So you have to understand the basic ESG in first few weeks, right? Once you have this kind of understanding, then you can work on building your skill set, the data skills, which may take maybe 1 or 2 months, right? But this is something you have to think of. Step 2, first of all, understand the basic requirement. Basic ESG understanding is important. Step 1. Once you have step 1 completed within few weeks, go to step 2. Step 2 means like understanding data skills. For example, Excel, where you need to clean the formulas, pivot tables, all this kind of stuff in Excel, right? Power BI basics, data validation, ESG data templates. So all these kind of skill set you have to build up. slowly, which may take 4 to 6 weeks time, right? Now, once the step 2 is cleared, so you go to step 3, where you go more deeper. That is, in 3 to 4 weeks, try to grasp the frameworks, understanding of the frameworks, deep dive the frameworks, GRI framework, BRSR standard, or SASB, TCFD, right? So these kind of standards and frameworks you have to think of and go deeper. Try to read the reports based on these standards. Let's say a report is designed based on GRI standard. So understand first the standard, how it is applied in the report by any company. You can Google it, download it, and go through how GRI standard is applied within the report, the sustainability report. That also you can go through. How BRSR standard is applied in a report, sustainability report, or SASB, TCFD. So understand these frameworks. That should be the step 3 for you, right? And then you see how it is applied. Now, once you have done these things, so go to step 4. Start working on small projects, mini projects. 2 or 3 weeks it will take time. So go through the projects. Suppose if you have if you do not get the privilege to go to any live project, so you can also download them, maybe the reports, and see the dashboard, how the dashboard is presented within the report, how the emissions are calculated, right? And if possible, if you can get hands-on experience on a live projects, that's more important. That's more better for you, right? So understand the KPI, how the KPI has been disclosed within the report, how the emissions been disclosed within the report, how the ESG dashboard is presented within the report, and is screenshot something. So these all are available in the reports or also in the public domain. You can Google them, you can go through. Also, you can be part of any live project with any consulting firms, right? So this can help you to understand more. So build mini projects, right? Once you have done this, then you can apply for intensive and entry level roles, because once you have the clarity, understanding of the frameworks, the standards, how it's been presented in the report, you can think of joining as a intern in any company to have an hands-on experience, right? So even if it's a small company, a startup company, or a consultant, don't think twice, just go for it, because now your priority is to have some kind of hands-on experience, right? So apply for intensive and entry level roles. This should be step 5 for you as a fresher, friends. So ESG intern, sustainability analyst trainee, or data analyst, right? These kind of opportunity you need to think of. And once you have some understanding, hands-on experience as an intern, then you can apply for the interviews, where you can think of, oh, then how can you can have the good responsibilities, right? How you can skill set more, and practical assignments. Once you start understanding these things, you can apply for the interviews also, right? So this is something a fresher should define, or fresher should understand the different steps required as a roadmap, right? Need not start preparing for the step like 6, the interview, without having hands-on experience as an intern. So you have to define this, design this, and work on this as a roadmap, from building skill set to building data skill set to having the framework understanding, standard understanding, mini projects, then applying for an internship, and then go for the interviews in any company, in any organization, where you will be literally shortlisted if you follow the roadmap, friends. Now the roadmap for the working professionals. What the working professionals should do. Step 1. You should need to identify your background advantage. You may be coming from finance background, you may be coming from any other background, friends. So you have to leverage whatever understanding you have. This is your own personal background. So first of all, identify your background advantage. How can you leverage the advantage of the existing background into ESG and sustainability? Right? Example, an engineering background. For example, if you're coming from an engineering background, so you can understand easily the energy, emissions, and operations, right? If you're coming from finance background, you will easily understand the ESG reporting, metrics, and disclosures. If you're coming from accounts, so you can easily understand the data accuracy, compliances, right? If you're coming from operations background, you can easily understand supply chain within ESG. If you are coming from analytical background, you can easily understand the dashboards and data modeling. So it depends which background you're coming from. You need to leverage that, right? So this is something, the first step you need to think as a working professional. Now, step 2. Step 2 is mapping your existing skills to ESG, right? So for example, let's say if you know Excel, so you need to learn ESG data templates. how Excel can be leveraged into ESG data templates. If you know Power BI, how you can build ESG dashboards using Power BI. If you know the compliances, how you can use the compliances or learn more compliances related to BRSR, GRI, or any other standard or framework, right? So you have to leverage the existing skill. You may be already skilled in Excel, but how and what is important as per the ESG data, that is you have to understand. You may be already skilled in Power BI, but for the ESG dashboard, what kind of Power BI you need to understand, that is something you have to know, right? You may be also having the understanding of the compliances, but what is required as per BRSR in India or GRI or any other framework standard, that is something you have to leverage, understand. So leverage the or map the existing skill to ESG and sustainability friends, right? That should be step 2. Now, step 3. So working professionals can learn frameworks faster because they already understand business processes. So ESG frameworks, how the fresher will understand and how a working professional, although you are not from the same background, you may be coming from different background, right? But you will easily understand the frameworks because you are already into it, right? So learn more, get deeper into the ESG frameworks, right? So working professional can learn, understand frameworks faster because they already understand business processes. This is very important for you friends, right? This should be step 3. So go into deep dive and understand the ESG frameworks thoroughly, right? Now step 4, build domain specific ESG projects. What does that mean? This means you should have some sort of domain knowledge, ESG knowledge, although you're coming from different background, but you should know, for example, energy audit. So you come from different background, but you need to read the reports, energy audit reports, right? Or the emission calculation, so GHG reports. So start understanding the domain specific, right, knowledge, and you should understand the projects. For example, any energy audit project being done by any company, go through the report, read the report. Any GHG calculation report being published by the company, go through the report, right? For example, if you're coming from finance background, also you can think about the ESG scorecard, how the scorecard has been designed by a company. If you're coming from HR background, understand the diversity metrics of any company. So go through the report, download the report. All these reports are available online in a public domain, right? Download the report, go through the report and build your domain specific knowledge, right? So this will help you. And target mid-level ESG roles. That is a step 5. You need not randomly target anywhere, right? And you may not be shortlisted. So start targeting the mid-level ESG role because already you have experience, you are a working professional, right? So start targeting as an ESG analyst role, sustainability reporting analyst role, or ESG operations analyst role, ESG data specialist role, right? These kind of roles you need to target as a step 5, friends, mid-level ESG roles, right? And this is something also important is leverage your experience in interview. Already you are not a fresher, right? You are a working professional, so you know how to crack the interviews. ESG interview is nothing separate, not too much separate from whatever you do for the existing or the background you're coming from, right? So in ESG, you have to understand the domain knowledge, domain experience, and then you can leverage your experience in interviews, friends. So after you have all the steps clear, you have the understanding of the, you have the understanding of how to leverage your existing, experience. You have the understanding of the frameworks, deep dive, right? You have the understanding of the projects within ESG, right? So you can start targeting the interviews also and planning for interviews. And for sure, if you follow the entire roadmap which I have discussed today, literally you are going to be shortlisted for ESG and sustainability domain, work-related domain, friends, right? It's not very, very tough to crack the interview, but you have to follow the right roadmap for that. So a quick comparison between the freshers and the working professionals, right? So if you see the starting point, freshers, they begin with zero experience, no corporate exposure, and no reporting background, no systematic projects, right? Their biggest challenge is building credibility from scratch. While the working professionals, they already have domain experience. Like for example, finance people coming from, so they will have finance experience, engineering or HR, operations, analytics. So all these have their domain experience. And this experience becomes their biggest advantage when transitioning into ESG, right? Now understand the focus point. So as a fresher, their focus must be on learning skills and building projects. So since they do not have work experience, right? Their portfolio becomes their proof of capability. But as a working professional, so your focus should be on mapping existing skills to ESG. You should not start from zero, right? You need to connect the current job, existing job to ESG responsibilities, friends. As a timeline, so a fresher may take 3 to 5 months to become job ready, while a working professional may only take 2 or 3 months or even lesser than that to become job ready, friends. If you see the best roles as a fresher, you should target entry level roles, while as a working professional, you should target the mid level roles, right? If you talk about the entry level roles, like for example, ESG intern, sustainability trainee, junior ESG analyst, ESG research associate, all these kind of freshers roles available in the market, friends. And as a working professional, you should target like ESG analyst, sustainability report analyst, ESG data specialist, climate analyst. So these kind of roles you can think about as a working professional, friends. If I compare the advantage, so a fresher has flexibility. They can shape their career from the beginning without unlearning old habits, right? But as a working professional, their advantage is business knowledge. They already have the understanding of the reporting, operations, finance, analytics, which ESG heavily depends on. So you can leverage all these skill set and understanding and the domain knowledge understanding into ESG domain, friends. So this is something which can help the working professionals, unlike the freshers, friends. And the challenges. So as a freshers, their challenge is lack of experience. However, if you talk about the working professionals, your challenge will be to transit clarity. So you should know how to transit from the existing role to the ESG domain role, friends. That is more important for you. So this is a quick comparison between the freshers and the working professionals, what we should target, what are your advantages, what kind of skill sets required, what kind of job roles you can look for as a fresher, and what kind of job role you should look for the working professionals, how can you leverage the existing understanding you have or domain knowledge you have, right? And what kind of job role you can think about as a working professional, right? So this is something a comparison I thought of presenting in front of you such that you have a clarity picture how to go ahead in the ESG roadmap, friends, right? So tell me in the comments, friends, are you a fresher or a working professional, and which roadmap do you want me to explain in more detail? So if you want further explanation on the roadmap, first of all, comment as a fresher or a working professional. This will help me to understand what kind of audience watching my video. So if you are a fresher, I look forward to have more clarity, more detailed roadmap for you, friends, right? And if you're a working professional, comment as a working professional in the comment section so that I understand and prepare more, better deep dive video on the roadmap, friends. So tell me in the comments, are you a fresher or a working professional, and which roadmap do you want me to explain in more detail, friends, right? So I hope the video was useful to you, content was useful to you. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe the channel. Also, please like and share the video if you found the content useful, friends. Follow me for more updates on green, ESG and sustainability related career opportunities and guidance. You may also follow me on LinkedIn. I'll share the link in the video description, friends. Please do comment if you have any query or suggestions for the next video you want me to prepare. And thanks for watching the video. See you in the next video. Until then, take care of yourself and keep learning, friends.